If I could experience just one thing again for the first time, it'd be these 15 games. Coming in at number 15 is Hogwarts Legacy. Few games have ever made childhood dreams feel so real the way Hogwarts Legacy does. The moment you step into the castle grounds, you're not just playing a character, you're living the fantasy every Potter fan has held onto for decades, whether it's wandering through the moving staircases, attending potions class, or just walking through the Forbidden Forest under moonlight. There's this immersive magic that hits way harder than expected. Set in the 1800s wizarding world, the game doesn't rely on Harry, Ron, or Hermione to hook you. Instead, it crafts its own deeply atmospheric lore while letting you shape your journey through your house, spells, and moral choices. The combat system surprised a lot of people too. It's not some turn-based wand-waving snooze fest. It's responsive, flashy, and even challenging at times. Chaining together spells feels satisfying and tactical. Add that to the gear upgrades, room customization, and companion quests, and the game gives you a loop that's way deeper than the surface. However, it's the initial experience that's truly unforgettable. The first time you walk into the Great Hall, hear the magical soundtrack swell, and realize you're not just visiting Hogwarts, you belong there. It's a feeling that never quite hits the same way again after that initial playthrough. At number 14 on our list is infamous Second Son. Now this one felt like a fresh jolt to the system. Second Son took the foundations of the series and launched them straight into the new generation, literally and visually. You step into the shoes of Delsin Rowe, a cocky graffiti artist who accidentally absorbs superpowers and gets pulled into a fight he never asked for. Set in a beautifully rainy Seattle, this world feels alive, and Delsin's journey, it's messy, personal, and packed with moments that make you question what kind of hero or anti-hero you want to be. The karma system returns, and yeah, it still hits hard, but this time it's more layered. Delsin's choices don't just affect the world, they shape his powers, how civilians see him, and even how his relationship with his brother unfolds. Go good and you're the people's champ with sleek, non-lethal moves. Go evil and you become a chaotic force with devastating attacks that send NPCs scattering in terror. And let's talk powers, because this game nails the fantasy. You're not just zipping around with neon or smoke, you're mastering multiple powers, each with their own traversal tricks and combat mechanics. Whether you're dashing up buildings in a blur of pink light or diving into battle as a cloud of smoke, every ability feels awesome. It's a superhero simulator that actually delivers on what that should feel like. But the best part? When you don't know what power you'll unlock next or how your choices will snowball, the feeling of becoming stronger while slowly realizing the weight of your actions, it's electric. It felt less like playing a game and more like waking up with powers in a city to conquer or save.
Taking fire! 12 o'clock!
Sliding in at number 13 is Battlefield 3. If you remember Battlefield 3's debut, you know it was a moment, the hype was real, and for good reason. From the thunderous sound design to the gritty visuals, DICE created a military shooter that felt miles ahead of its competition at the time. The campaign had its moments, sure, but the real experience, the one we're talking about today, was in the multiplayer, and oh boy, was it unforgettable. This was the game that taught you what true destruction looked like. With the Frostbite 2 engine, buildings weren't just set dressing, you could level them. Snipers hiding in a tower, blow it up, enemy tank rolling through a bottleneck, lay down some C4 and say goodbye. It made every map dynamic and tactical in a way Call of Duty just couldn't touch at the time. And then there was the teamwork. Battlefield 3 wasn't about lone wolf kill streaks, it was about squads, reviving your buddy under gunfire, dropping ammo as jets screamed overhead. That kind of coordination felt intense, immersive, and honestly kind of beautiful when it all clicked. This wasn't just a game, it was war distilled into pure adrenaline. Dropping into Operation Metro or Caspian Border for the first time was absolute chaos, the kind that felt larger than life. That raw intensity and cinematic scale didn't just impress, it completely pulled you in.
Ever even missed your punk ass, would they?
Get that gun away from me, psycho! No!
Taking the 12th place, we have Life is Strange. Now this game isn't about high-octane action or flashy powers, though ironically, it does have time control. It's about relationships, memory, and growing up. Set in the quiet town of Arcadia Bay, you play as Max Caulfield, a teenage girl who suddenly discovers she can rewind time, and that one twist changes everything. The story grips you from the start. Max reconnects with her old best friend Chloe, and together they uncover dark secrets about their town, but it's more than just a mystery, it's a coming coming-of-age tale layered with themes of identity, mental health, grief, and consequence. The choices you make actually matter, and that ending, it still sparks debates and heartbreaks to this day. But what truly makes it so special is the raw authenticity, the awkwardness of teen conversations, the lingering looks, the music, oh man, the music. Acoustic guitar tracks play as you stare out a dorm window, and you just feel it, like you're not just playing Max, you are a Max. And with every rewind, you question whether you're doing the right thing or just delaying the inevitable. Experiencing life is strange is like reading your favorite novel for the first time. Once you know what happens, it's never the same. That original sense of mystery, the not knowing, the slow burn reveal of what's really going on in Arcadia Bay, it's magic that only works once. Claiming the 11th spot on our list is Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Now this game threw out the heavy tone of the earlier games and went all in on the pirate fantasy. You had open seas to explore, intense sword fights, and naval combat that felt more like Pirates of the Caribbean than historical stealth sim, and it was glorious. You play as Edward Kenway, a selfish, roguish pirate who stumbles into the Assassin-Templar War almost by accident. But instead of forcing him into a good guy role, the game lets him stay complicated. His story is one of survival, redemption, and the idea that freedom can come at a cost. And it's told alongside one of the most vibrant and diverse open worlds in the entire series. Sailing was the real star here. Your ship, the Jackdaw, became your second home. You'd chart a course through storms, attack Spanish galleons, dive for treasure, and sing sea shanties with your crew as the sun set on the Caribbean horizon. It was beautiful, dynamic, and weirdly calming between the chaotic sword fights and cannon blasts. That first time you unlock your full crew, raise the sails, and take down a legendary ship, pure dopamine. The open sea was unpredictable, full of whales, pirates, shipwrecks, and mysterious islands. It felt alive, and if you've played it, you know that initial sense of freedom, that salty wind at your back, is something you'll never get quite the same way again.
Slippery fella, huh?
Ranked at number 10, we have It Takes Two. There's co-op games, and then there's It Takes Two, a game that doesn't just include cooperation as a feature, but builds its entire soul around it. This isn't your typical multiplayer experience. You and your partner are thrown into the shoes of Cody and May, a bickering couple who are magically turned into tiny toy-like versions of themselves. What follows is a wild, genre-shifting journey through their fractured relationship, told through brilliantly creative levels that change up gameplay mechanics almost every 15 minutes. The genius of It Takes Two lies in its constant reinvention. One moment you're flinging nails and swinging hammers in a tool shed turned war zone, and the next you're piloting underpants in a squirrel vs. wasp war in a tree that feels like it came out of an action movie. Each area is themed around the couple's real life issues, parenting, communication, trust, and it translates those emotional themes into gameplay that feels surprisingly deep. Beneath all the imaginative gameplay and Pixar level charm is something even more powerful, a story that actually earns its emotional beats. Watching Cody and May struggle to reconnect, bicker, laugh, and eventually remember why they loved each other, it hits harder than you'd expect. It's one of those rare games that literally cannot be played alone, and it makes you wish you could forget it all just to play it again fresh with someone you care about, and that's storytelling through gameplay done right. Coming in at number 9 is Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. This wasn't just Nathan Drake's final ride, it was a masterclass in storytelling, character evolution, and cinematic gameplay. Years after the chaos of his previous adventures, we find Drake trying to live a normal life, but of course normal doesn't stick. The return of his long-lost brother Sam pulls him back into a world of danger, treasure, and crumbling ruins, and just like that, you're hooked. From sun-drenched rooftops in Italy to deep jungles and pirate coves, this is a globe-spanning send-off that feels deeply personal and jaw-droppingly epic all at once. What makes Uncharted 4 stand tall, even among its predecessors, is how it slows things down when it matters. The quieter moments like Drake's conversations with Elena, those deep dives into his past, and even just exploring the attic full of old relics feel just as gripping as the big set pieces. Not to say the action doesn't hit hard, the Madagascar chase scene is still one of the craziest car chases ever put into a game. Combine that with refined gunplay, stealth mechanics, and incredibly dynamic environments, and you've got gameplay that's polished to near perfection. Uncharted 4 isn't just a goodbye, it's a full circle moment. It gives you the thrills, the danger, the cinematic spectacle the series is known for, but it also dares to go deeper. It's the kind of game that sticks with you, lingering in your mind long after you put the controller down. Landing at number 8, we have Black Myth: Wukong, a game that didn't just meet expectations but delivered with record-breaking impact. Black Myth: Wukong takes the classic Chinese myth of the Monkey King and wraps it in an ultra-realistic, action-packed package. You step into the shoes of Sun Wukong, the Monkey King, who wields insane agility, immense strength, and shape-shifting abilities in his quest to confront gods, demons, and other mythological creatures. The first time you lay eyes on the world of this title, it's hard to believe it's a game and not an epic fantasy film. The environments are jaw-droppingly detailed, ranging from lush forests to mythical stone ruins, each with its own distinct style and atmosphere. The game's visuals stand out, and the way they craft lighting, shadow, and fluid motion makes every battle feel like a high-stakes cinematic moment. Combat-wise, this is where Black Myth: Wukong sets itself apart. You're not just button mashing. Each fight feels strategic. The game blends martial arts with magical abilities, giving you a suite of combat options, including the ability to transform into different creatures and use their unique skills. Black Myth: Wukong has not only captivated players with its stunning visuals and engaging gameplay, but has also made a significant impact on the gaming industry. By selling over 10 million copies within just 3 days of its release, it has positioned itself among the fastest-selling video games of all time. That feeling of awe, the rush of discovering a world this rich and action-packed, it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience that I'd love to feel fresh again. Securing the 7th spot, we have Mass Effect 3, the conclusion to one of the most celebrated sci-fi trilogies of all time. The Mass Effect series is all about choices that affect the fate of not just your crew, but entire civilizations across the galaxy. And while the ending was controversial for some, the journey leading up to it was pure magic. The final battle against the Reapers was everything a gamer could want in an epic conclusion: high stakes, emotional depth, and an unforgettable cast of characters. What made Mass Effect 3 so special wasn't just the grand space battles or the tech upgrades, it was the relationships. This was the game where the bonds you built with your squad mates came to a head. The combat system was also refined, making Mass Effect 3 a bit more action-oriented than its predecessors, but it didn't lose that signature RPG feel. The battle sequences were intense, especially when you're fighting back against the Reaper invasion. The multiplayer component, though, added an unexpected twist. But again, it's that feeling when you step into the shoes of Commander Shepard, leading a ragtag crew of aliens and humans to save the galaxy from extinction. The music, the choices, the final push to the climax, it's a roller coaster of emotions. And despite the controversy around the ending, I'd love to experience that journey again.
I hate you!
Making it to number 6, here's Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Web-slinging through the skyscrapers of New York City, there's no feeling quite like it. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 takes everything that made its predecessor great and cranks it up to 11. With the introduction of new villains like Venom and Green Goblin, the stakes have never been higher. And of course, you get to play not just as Peter Parker, but also Miles Morales, each with their own unique playstyle and abilities. The game's combat is fluid, fast-paced, and exciting, with new abilities that make swinging through the city and taking down bad guys feel like an absolute joy. The web-swinging mechanics are as smooth as ever, and the added depth to Peter and Miles' personalities makes it even more engaging. The emotional arcs in Spider-Man 2 are much stronger this time around, as the game dives into themes of responsibility, loss, and what it means to be a hero. Visually, it's hard to believe how much they've improved on the original. The feeling of immersion is unlike any other superhero game, and the first time you swing through that city, seeing the world come to life is something you can't easily forget. There's just something magical about the very first time you dive into unlocking new suits, discovering new abilities, and teaming up with Miles, and honestly, I'd give anything to feel that sense of wonder all over again. Holding down the 5th spot is The Last of Us Part 1. There's no denying The Last of Us Part 1 is one of the greatest video games of all time. It's a brutal, beautiful journey through a post-apocalyptic world where every moment feels like a fight for survival. You step into the shoes of Joel, a man hardened by the loss of his daughter and thrust into the role of protector for Ellie, a young girl who might just hold the key to saving humanity. What makes The Last of Us so special is its storytelling. This isn't just about killing zombies or shooting your way through enemies. It's about the complex, messy relationship between Joel and Ellie. You feel every moment with them, from the quiet moments of bonding to the tense, heart-pounding fights for survival. The voice acting, the writing, and the animation all work in tandem to create a deeply emotional experience that stays with you long after you finish the game. Combat is tense and strategic, where ammo is scarce and every shot counts. Stealth is just as important as firepower, and you'll find yourself sneaking around corners, crafting Molotovs, and taking down clickers with a sense of urgency. The emotional roller coaster of seeing Joel and Ellie grow closer, the dread of entering dangerous territory, the thrill of sneaking past infected, it's something that can't be replicated. At the 4th spot, we're looking at Mortal Kombat 11. This game brought back all the brutal, bloody, and ridiculous fun of the franchise, but with modern upgrades that made every fight feel even more intense. Whether you were playing as Sub-Zero, Scorpion, or one of the new faces like Jaraz, every battle felt like a combination of technical mastery and outrageous gore. The roster in Mortal Kombat 11 was a thing of beauty. Classic fighters like Liu Kang and Raiden made their return, but the new characters fit seamlessly into the lore. The customization options were a big step forward too. You could modify your character's appearance, abilities, and movesets to suit your playstyle. The fighting system felt fluid, fast, and rewarding even for newcomers to the franchise. The game's story mode was one of the best in Mortal Kombat history, blending time travel, multiverse chaos, and of course a whole lot of fatalities. It didn't take itself too seriously, but it still gave you some genuinely heart-pounding moments. And don't even get me started on the new custom combat mode. It took the multiplayer experience to new heights. The rush of victory, the shock, and the cheers with your friends, it's the kind of thing you'll never quite experience again. And Mortal Kombat 11 captured that chaos and fun perfectly. Breaking into the top 3, we got Helldivers 2. Alright, Helldivers 2 hit the ground running as a sequel to one of the most underrated co-op shooters out there. Set in a dystopian future where humanity is at war with alien species, you and your friends are sent on dangerous missions to fight for control of the galaxy. The intensity and strategy of the game made every mission feel like an all-out war, but it was the co-op elements that made it shine. The first time you dropped into a battlefield alongside your buddies, the sense of teamwork was everything. Friendly fire was always a possibility, and the missions were always unpredictable, forcing you to adapt on the fly. Whether it was clearing alien hives, surviving a bugged-out defense mission, or launching a successful extraction, each objective felt unique and challenging. The game's difficulty was high, and it required precise teamwork. It's not just about blasting aliens, it's about working together to avoid mistakes, coordinating drop zones, and watching each other's backs. The tension in those final moments of a mission, when the countdown to extraction starts, is pure gold. The runner-up at number 2 is Batman Arkham City. This game didn't just deliver a fantastic superhero experience, it set the standard for every action-adventure game that came after it. After the success of Arkham Asylum, Rocksteady expanded the world and gave us a sprawling open-world Gotham to explore. And yet, despite the expanded scale, everything about Arkham City felt tight, focused, and downright thrilling. The combat system was as fluid as ever, with smooth, counter-heavy brawls that made you feel like an absolute badass. But the real joy came from being Batman. The detective mode, the gadgets, the epic boss battles against iconic villains. Arkham City turned every moment into a fantasy of being the Dark Knight. The story too was top-notch, with twists and turns that made the experience feel like you were living through a Batman graphic novel. One of the most memorable parts of Arkham City was the way it brought the entire Batman universe to life. From the towering Gothic architecture to the deep, often tragic backstories of the villains, you could feel the weight of Gotham City on your shoulders. And finally, at the top of our list is Silent Hill 2, a remake of one of the most revered horror games of all time. The pressure was astronomical. One misstep, and it could have been another soulless cash grab, trampling over legacy for a quick nostalgia buck. But against all odds, they nailed it. This isn't just a graphical overhaul, it's a full-blooded reimagining that gets why the original was terrifying. You play as James Sunderland, the broken man stumbling into Silent Hill after a letter from his dead wife calls him back. The bones of the story remain untouched, thank God, but now every line of dialogue, every flicker of expression, and every strained breath is loaded with subtext thanks to performance capture that's way too good for how much psychological damage this game inflicts. The voice acting, no more awkward early 2000s stiffness, just raw, uncomfortable humanity. James sounds like a man on the verge of collapse from the first second, and it makes his descent hit even harder. In a year packed with horror games, Silent Hill 2 didn't just stand tall. It redefined what a remake can be. Faithful but not slavish, modern but not sterile, and so terrifying it feels like the game itself is watching you play. It's not just the best horror game of 2024, it's a new benchmark, and if you haven't played it yet, God help you.